Thank you very much to all of you, and you sped through it, and the vote has not yet begun, so we've got a little time here. Let me start with you, Mr. Brooks. I found it interesting that you speak approvingly of congressional mandates, particularly with regard to specific short-term deadlines, and you look askance at some bureaucratic requirements that you are compelled to comply with. So let me ask you to expand on this, and then I'll see if anyone else on the panel wants to respond. You say there are unnecessary layers. Give us examples about that. And you say it now takes up to 6 times longer to approve UAS Center of Excellence research because of a recent policy change. What happened there? Well, and what do we need to do?
First, I'll point out that the UAS Center of Excellence was the fastest stand-up of a Center of Excellence in history. We literally did it in about 4.5 months from the date of award to our first contracts.
Good for you.
So we've been moving very, very, very quickly, and we tend to push on others to try to match our pace. In this particular case, FAA had sole review for our research projects approval, funding streams, things of that nature. And we could normally, once we decided on the content of a project, we could run that through the approval wickets in a matter of weeks. Recently, there's been a move that the Department of Transportation has now exercised their right to review all projects in all of the centers of excellence. And all of a sudden, our approval process has been delayed up to many months. So far, we haven't seen any substantive changes due to this review, so I do question the value in the absence of some concrete examples of how they were made better. We know what we need to do. We need to do it quickly, and we're anxious to move forward and do that, and we think that one way to help is to remove some of these layers.
Were these being reviewed at the FAA level and then kicked up to
yeah, they were previously reviewed and approved at the FAA level, and now they go through a second level of review at the department level.
Okay, Mr. Merkel, is that an unnecessary step, and do we need to fix that?
I'd be happy to get with you and your staff and explain the details.
Okay, but do the best you can in about 60 seconds. How about?
As a recipient of the research of Assure, I also we are a sponsoring office, and we're also one of the recipients of the Assure research, and we greatly benefit from what they do. So, we too share the desire to be as effective and timely as possible, and sometimes the grant process, based on the number of grants being processed at any one time, or the complexity of the grants, takes a little bit longer. But again, as for all the details of the review process, I don't actually own that, but I'd be happy to get back with you and explain it.
Okay, well, we have the testimony, verbal and written, that there's no discernible value added, but it's taken 6 times longer. That's the sort of thing that this committee might be able to help with as a matter of oversight. But I'm sure there are people on the other side who think this is valuable and contributing to safety. Well, Mr. Brooks, what works and what doesn't work? Can you give us an example of finding something that doesn't work?
So to expand on one of my earlier comments, when you want to get something done quickly, you want a highly competent, streamlined team that is focused on an issue at a time. The SARP has done that, the Center of Excellence has done that, and a few other organizations have managed to solve some really big problems very quickly. As an old friend of mine used to say, when you try to boil the ocean, it takes a very, very long time. And our initial approach years ago was to do just that. We would try to solve all of the problems at once. We would build incredibly large committees, hundreds of people. And as you well know, past a certain critical mass, that completely stalls all innovation and momentum. I think that we've proven through the SARP, through the Center of Excellence, and a few other great organizations, that concentrated effort, let's rack our problems, hit the top priority ones first with a concentrated effort and start moving down, because those wins enable us to fly more and more. When we fly more and more, we collect more data. We understand what's truly safe. And so by focusing specific problems, like we did with the SARP, go tell us how closely an unmanned system can operate in proximity to another aircraft. What's safe and what isn't safe?
What's the answer to that?
Answer that question. So for a small UAS operating in proximity to a manned aircraft, that's about 2,000 feet laterally, sir.
2,000 feet laterally.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Senator Cantwell.
Thank you.